Chiefs Kingdom, we all love the NFL Draft. It's exciting, it's strategic, and it brings big names to our roster. But what happens after the draft? That's where the real treasure hunt begins. And guess what? Brett Veach has his map, his compass, and he's already digging up some serious gold. As soon as the final pick of the 2025 draft was in, the Chiefs front office got to work signing undrafted free agents, players who slipped through the cracks but still have the tools to compete at the highest level. And you know how Kansas City does it. We don't just fill out camp rosters, we find future contributors. Let's dive into some of the key names who've already signed with the Chiefs. First up, we've got Matthew Delina, a wide receiver out of Dartmouth. Yes, the Ivy League. Don't let the school fool you. This kid's sharp, polished, and knows how to get open. Delina ran crisp routes, showed soft hands, and flashed some deceptive speed at his pro day. While he may not have faced top-tier competition in college, he brings a high football IQ and a chip on his shoulder, just the kind of underdog mentality that thrives in KC. Next, we've got Bumper Pool, the linebacker from Arkansas. Okay, let's just pause and appreciate that name, Bumper Pool. If that doesn't scream fan favorite in the making, I don't know what does. But don't get it twisted. Bumper can hit. He was a tackling machine in the SEC, piling up over 400 career tackles, and he plays downhill with violence. He's not the most athletic guy in space, but on special teams or in short yardage packages, he could absolutely find a role. And finally, how about Anthony Goodlow, the edge rusher from Oklahoma State? This guy's a long, lean pass rusher with a quick first step. He didn't have huge sack numbers in college, but the tools are there. Length, motor, and a frame that's still filling out. The Chiefs love developing players like this behind stars like George Karlaftis and Mike Dana. He's a perfect practice squad. Candidate with upside to crack the rotation. Now look, we're not saying these guys are guaranteed to make the 53-man roster. But we are saying this. Kansas City knows how to find hidden gems. Just ask guys like Tershawn Wharton or Tommy Townsend, both UDFAs who became key contributors. Could one of these new names be the next? Poll time. Which UDFA are you most excited about so far? Drop your pick in the comments, or if you've got your eye on someone not mentioned yet, let us know who and why. You never know who's going to make that leap. Let's be honest. Chiefs Kingdom, when it comes to undrafted free agents choosing where to sign, they're not just looking at depth charts. They're thinking about coaching, development, culture, and, yep, winning. In Kansas City, we check all the boxes. Think about it. If you're a hungry UDFA trying to prove you belong in the NFL, wouldn't you want to learn from Andy Reid? Wouldn't you want to play for a franchise that's won 3 Super Bowls in the last few years and is gunning for a three-peat? And oh yeah, how about catching passes from Patrick Mahomes or rushing the passer in Steve Spagnuolo's aggressive, creative defense? It's not just about rings, it's about opportunity. This team has a track record of not just signing UDFAs, but developing them. Let's rewind. Tershawn Wharton, a defensive tackle from Missouri S&T, went undrafted in 2020. Most people had never even heard of him. Fast forward a few seasons and he's making plays in the AFC championship game. Or how about Jack Cochran? Came in undrafted, carved out a role on special teams, and stuck. The message is clear. If you perform in camp and preseason, this team will give you a shot. No politics, no favoritism, just football. And don't overlook the Chiefs' coaching staff and front office reputation. Brett Veach is known around the league as a GM who digs deep. He and his scouting team don't stop after 7 rounds. They're watching the late bloomers, the small school studs, and the players who just didn't get the spotlight. They're playing chess while other teams are still playing checkers. Plus, with the salary cap always looming, developing low-cost talent is key for maintaining a championship roster. The Chiefs know this. It's why they invest in UDFA signings and give these guys real opportunities to earn a helmet on game day. So, here's the big takeaway. If you're a player who didn't hear your name called during the draft, Kansas City isn't just an option, it's a golden opportunity. You join a culture of excellence, a coaching staff that develops, and a team that knows how to win. If you were a UDFA, would you choose the Chiefs over other teams? Why or why not? Hit the comments, and let's hear it, Kingdom. All right, Chiefs Kingdom, let's get into the good stuff. The undrafted free agents who could actually crack the 53-man roster this year. Every year, at least one or two surprise names emerge during camp. So who are the top contenders this time around? Let's start with Devontae Walker, the explosive wide receiver out of North Carolina. This guy has wheels, pure speed, and he can take the top off a defense. The fact that he slipped through the draft was shocking to some scouts. But now, paired with Mahomes and Andy Reid's creativity, he could become a serious weapon if he shows consistency in camp. Next up, Cam Hart, cornerback from Notre Dame. This guy is built like a starter, long, physical, and disciplined. He held his own against some top-tier receivers in college and fits the mold of what Spagnuolo loves in DBs. Remember how we found Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams in the later rounds? Hart could be the next name added to that list of unheralded secondary studs. Let's talk trenches. Hunter Nourzad, the center from Penn State, is a name to watch. With Nick Allegretti gone and depth on the interior lineup for grabs, Nourzad has a real shot. He's versatile, strong, and has the kind of high IQ play you need in Andy Reid's complex. Offense. Keep your eye on him. And here's a wild card. Deneric Prince, running back out of Tulsa. He was a fan favorite last preseason, and he's back for another shot. With Clyde Edwards-Helaire on a one-year deal and Isaiah Pacheco recovering from injuries late last year, the door is wide open for a strong camp performance to push him into that RB3 role. Let's not forget special teams. UDFAs often make the roster by shining on kick and punt coverage. Guys like Jack Cochran and Nazeeh Johnson made names for themselves this way. Don't sleep on players like Marcellus Johnson, an offensive lineman with good athleticism who could contribute early in multiple areas. Bottom line, these aren't just camp bodies. These are legit competitors. And if history is any guide, at least one or two of them will be suiting up in Arrowhead this fall. Which UDFA are you most excited about? Devontae Walker, Cam Hart, or Hunter Nourzad? Vote below, and let's see who Kingdom believes in. All right, Chiefs. Kingdom, now we're getting to the heart of the matter. The underdogs who have the chance to break through and earn a spot on the depth chart. Every year, there are players that no one expects to make it but come out of nowhere and steal the show. Could this be the year for one of our UDFAs to do exactly that? First, let's talk about Jake Briningstool, the tight end out of Clemson. This guy has the tools to be a mismatch in the passing game. Standing at 6'5", 241 pounds, he's got the size, but it's his ability to find soft spots in zone coverage that stands out. With Travis Kelce getting older and the Chiefs looking to develop depth behind him, Briningstool has a real opportunity to carve out a role as a second tight end or even a red zone threat. But it's not just about catching passes. The Chiefs' tight ends have to block, and that's where Briningstool has room to grow. If he can show he's willing to fight in the trenches, his upside could be huge. Keep an eye on him as camp progresses. Another name that stands out is Melvin Smith Jr., the cornerback from Southern Arkansas. He's not a household name, but let's look at the facts. 5 interceptions, 11 pass breakups, and he's got the length and ball skills that the Chiefs covet in their secondary. The cornerback room is crowded, but we've seen this story before with Joshua Williams and Jalen Watson, who made their mark as rookies. Could Melvin Smith Jr. be the next hidden gem? And then there's Kevin Knowles, too, the safety from Florida State. The guy's not a playmaker in the traditional sense, but he's smart, has solid instincts, and knows how to stay in the right position. He's the type of player who could end up being a depth piece, especially with Juan Thornhill gone and some question marks behind Justin Reid. He won't be flashy, but he might be the steady hand the Chiefs need on special teams and in certain defensive packages. Finally, we've got Zach Zabrowski, the quarterback from Central Missouri. Yes, the Chiefs already have Mahomes, but it's always worth keeping an eye on the backup role. Zabrowski was fantastic at the D2 level, throwing for over 4,700 yards and 40 touchdowns last season. While he's a long shot, you never know what could happen with injury or changes in the QB room. At the very least, he'll be a great camp arm. Who do you think is the most underrated UDFA on this list? Do you believe someone like Melvin Smith Jr. could crack the starting lineup? Or do you think Jake Briningstool is the next big thing at tight end? Drop your thoughts below. I'm curious to hear from you. All right, Chiefs Kingdom, we've covered a lot of ground today, but before we wrap this up, let's take a step back and look at the big picture. The 2025 UDFA class that the Chiefs have brought in is a serious mix of potential and excitement. While not every player will make the roster, you've got to admit, the Chiefs have done well to bring in a group that could turn some heads in training camp. Players like Will Brooks, the safety from Tennessee, stand out as immediate candidates to compete for roster spots. A former walk-on who became an impact player in the SEC. That's the kind of story that gets Chiefs fans excited. With 4 interceptions, 9 pass breakups, and a solid 59 tackles in 2024, Brooks has the kind of ball skills that can make him a very interesting addition to the Chiefs' secondary. I've got to say, I'm excited about the possibilities with some of these UDFAs. Kosiah Izard, the defensive tackle from Penn State, and Glendon Miller, the safety from Maryland, are both intriguing players who could offer depth right away. Izard had 31 tackles and 7 TFLs last season, while Miller has good size and showed up big with 3 interceptions and 5 pass breakups in 2024. These guys have the tools to contribute sooner rather than later. Now the question is, who is going to separate themselves from the pack? Dalton Cooper, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma State, has shown he can play at a high level with a PFF grade of 73.2. He didn't allow a single sack in 9 games, and with the Chiefs looking to build more depth on the offensive line, he could be one to keep an eye on. All right, Chiefs fans, it's your turn. Who's your favorite UDFA from this class? Will Brooks, Jake Briningstool, or someone else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments section, and let's talk about who you're most excited to see in training camp. That's a wrap on our breakdown of the Chiefs UDFA class for 2025. If you're hyped about any of these players, or if you've got your own predictions for who will make the team, let me know down below. As always, we're going to keep you covered with all the news and updates as the Chiefs head into training camp, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay in the loop. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time on Total Chiefs News.